Hi everyone, this is Em, and today we're about to expose anything we know about Cara Delevingne's life from her childhood till this day, 2025. And this is my second project for modeling stories. The first one was Gia Karenji, and so let's get into it. Cara Jocelyn Delevingne was born in 1992 into a most perfect family we could ever imagine. That not only she had wealth and power and a 30 million euro house, $30 million house, but also a lord grandfather and some royalty blood. She was invited to this prince and princess events and weddings and parties, like, I don't know, tea parties. Is that true? Is that tea party? I don't know. What the hell is that? But she was invited into that. She was living a life, we call it old money. And with all of that, with all these things we see from the outside world, she was not happy. Not the kind of childhood that will leave you bruises on your skin, but something that will go on your nerves, live there forever, and will traumatize not only your childhood, but all the way ahead you. But you know, her childhood was traumatizing because of her mother, first of all. Her mother was an heroin addicted. She was never there for her. And their roles were just replaced because Cara Delevingne became a mom to her mother, and she had never a childhood. She just grew up too fast because of that, and she was never there for her presence, to use that mother presence in her life, although she had two older sisters. But this just traumatized her childhood, and aside from that, because she was born into a very privileged family, a very wealthy family, she never had the right to object anything, have an objection in any field of her life. Like, you don't have the right to be sad about anything. You are beautiful, you have beautiful eyes, you have everything, you have wealth, you are going to private schools, everything that people are trying to have it, you already have it, and say, just to stay silent, live your life, and never expect anything more about that. And that's what her childhood was like. And you know what? She was never a really pinky girly girl. She was rather a tomboy, and she wore stuff and clothes like this. And she had this style of tomboy, in which she later mentioned that she always wanted to be, I don't know, half man, half woman. And she sometimes feel like she's very a woman, and sometimes she felt like a very man. So this is something that was in her life from her childhood. She felt that, but in her family, you can never say things like that. You are not allowed to say that. And she has been hiding her sexual identity for a very long time because her family would never accept that she is a pansexual, and it was like a big giant thing, and it's not something good. It's not that pretty rich girls are allowed to have this preference. So she was hiding that, and this will end up into not allowing herself as a total, because she always hated that part, that everyone would tell to her, just keep that private, never tell anyone, I don't know, hide it from anyone. And how self-hatred will just start up in someone. You can't start love yourself and at once, and then you just hate yourself, your depression comes in, your anxiety comes in, and that's what happened to Cara Delevingne just as 15-year-old. And she even pointed out to an accident when she was just 8 years old that she was into her aunt's wedding, and she was drunk with a champagne, and she woke up the next day sober into her grandma's house. And she just reminded that how crazy it would be this experience for a child like that age, and how would this become because of no presence of a mom, of someone who will just look for you and I don't know, take care of you. And she was, I don't know, it's sad. And you just look back at your life and see there was no person that will tell you, oh, don't drink that, that's not good for you. And you drink the whole bottle, you wake up the next morning, and yet no one knows about that. And that's traumatizing, really. And poor Cara. So she had all these experiences: dyslexia, dyspraxia, depression, anxiety. She was dropped out of school at 15, and you know, she was prescribed some sleeping pills, and even not prescribed sleeping pills, and she would just take all these pills, and she just wanted to calm down a body and a soul that they were in the battlefield with each other. And she was mentioning this experience as a whole thing, that I really didn't want to be alive. I really wanted to be dead, because I didn't like the life I had. And then something as a miracle happened and really changed this idea that maybe if it happened even a year later, Cara was not on this word. And you know, just there was a friend of this family, which her name was Sarah. Sarah had this store management agency which made Kate Moss a famous model, and she just launched that model for everyone, for the whole world. And she made Cara Delevingne's older sister a model, and then she saw Cara Delevingne with so much potential. She had this rebel face with those eyes, with those eyebrows, and she's just a combination and a mixture of being a rebel and a royal blood, with this shiny hair and very clean style, and yet she had those moments, yeah, we can say wild moments. And she said that that's a perfect combination. That's something that fashion needs but doesn't know about it. So she signed her in. She made a contract with her. She just became the model for the store management, and that's how she entered the modeling agency. But I have to admit that she never said I liked modeling. It was just something, a way out for the family pressure, for those mental challenges, and I wanted to just do something and just get away with life, get away when life's overwhelming. So that's why she chose modeling. She never was into modeling. She was more into music and maybe acting, but never modeling was a thing for her. Although she was never into modeling, but when she just came into it, and after just meeting Christopher Bailey, her modeling career just took off, and she became twice the model of the year. She worked over 100 shows, and we just know that how famous she became. She worked any runway. She was everywhere on every famous covers and every shows and brands, and she became a muse for Karl Lagerfeld, and she had those eyebrows, and she changed really the style and the beauty standards for so many girls in the modeling, and people loved her, you know, because she was backstage. She was somehow a girl that not very perfect, but like any of us, that has some flaws and some imperfections, and she was like that girl that you like to trust. But for Cara, that was dealing with so many mental challenges, modeling just become another way to pretend that she's okay, she's good, she's handling it. But she was crying before any job, she's crying while doing modeling job, and even after the shows, and it just became a thing. Just pretend I'm okay, I'm funny. And she's mentioning that I was like playing a character the whole time. It wasn't me, it was just a character. She was happier, she was smarter, she was funnier than me, and I was just drowning. I was drowning in all this pressure, all this stuff that I hated about myself. I was never myself, and I had never the chance to be. So she was just like playing a show for us all this time, trying to be happy, trying to be that positive girl, just trying to become the famous girl that universe wanted to her be and wanted her to be. So she's just going on. Although Cara was not really that tall girl, the very tall, or some models with very special catwalk, but when she walked in, everyone was on her. She had the attention just freezing on herself and her looks, and she was amazing. She was the combination, as I said, a rebel and a royal and a beautiful young girl who's trying to do wild things. And I guess one of my favorite things about her face are her eyes. Her eyes just tell you a story, and it's amazing. Although her modeling career was on the peak, but she was struggling, and the cracks were deeper. And suddenly, on 2022, there were those images from paparazzi that she was walking barely food, and she had those crazy moments, and everyone thought that she's dealing with so much anxiety, she's dealing with so much, I don't know, problems. Maybe she's just like her mother, and there was just headlines and media just, you know how they act like this. She's just a typical model girl who's having the typical model life. She's into drugs, she's having addictions, she's having some party, she's a party girl, she's like this, and no one saw the real reasons. I mean, she's been struggling for so many years, from her childhood, from the age 8, and why you could never see that was the real reason. It's just not a modeling life, it's a very far background behind it. I guess behind all these pressures, all these crazy moments, there was a girl who was trying to love herself as she is, and to see what she really likes. Do I want to really be in modeling career? Do I want to go to Hollywood? Do I want to sing? What do I want to do? For no one's reaction, for no one's clapping hand for me. What I wanted to be when no one's watching. And so she just let's go. Let's try out Hollywood. Let's go and play in some roles. And she did. She appeared in some movies like Carnival Row, Paper Towns, and Suicide Squad. And honestly, she was trying to be an actress, and critics and people and powerful people in Hollywood didn't want her to be, because she was a typical supermodel who wanted to be taken seriously in Hollywood career, and she would never just follow the dream that she was meant to Hollywood, and just there were some creepy stories behind the doors too. Cara just mentioned that very creepy experience with Harvey Weinstein, that Harvey told her, if you ever want to stay in Hollywood, if you ever want to be taken seriously, you should hide who you really are. You're pansexual, forget about it. You should be totally straight to be taken out seriously. And then after traumatizing her with this statement, okay, he would just wanted to say her, he wanted to force himself into her and kiss her, and just Cara was in shock that what the hell is happening. And after that, she even mentioned the very famous director just cut my food off to Hollywood because I just rejected him. And that's what happened when you are just trying to be nice someone, you're trying to show your talents, and just people who don't like this, and they never let you. In 2022, she was done with the lifestyle she had, all this partying, all this alcohol, all these drugs, and she just went straight to rehab. And when she came back, when she was appearing on a Scar event, she became just another girl. She was a very healthy version of Cara Delevingne, which was not there for really just clapping her and just attention. She was there for herself, and she was really calm. She's I don't know for you guys, but I just could see it from her eyes, not just from looks, but she was different. Something has changed. In the middle of the chaos of her life, Cara just chose herself. She did the bravest thing a girl could have ever done. She chose herself not for how people will see, how people will react, but for her own sake, for her peace, and for just to see what she really wants all this life, because we are living once, and we should consider what we really want, not anyone else. Everyone was always wondering who's Cara Delevingne dating. Is she dating with hairstyles, Jake Bogg, I don't know, Justin Bieber? And then I guess it was like for 5 months she dated Jake Bogg, and then she mentioned that I really don't enjoy dating 24-year-old or 25-year-old boys, because they're just like a bunch of babies and you're a mother to them. And after a while, she mentioned that maybe this is me, the problem is me, yeah, that's me, I'm changing every day. Sometimes I'm just a man, sometimes I'm just a woman. And then she confessed that she's pansexual. And after a while, in 2015, she told Vogue that I really love to have the child of a man I'm really in love with, but I'm just so scared of that, scared to death. And we just got that Cara really loves to be in love and to be loved, but she never wants commitment, because she had those traumatized emotional childhood. She's really not into commitment or long-term relationships. In 2013, she had those little moments with Miley Cyrus. Miley Cyrus was just separated from Liam Hemsworth, and then she had Harry Styles, and that was not confirmed, these two relationships by Cara Delevingne and even Miley and Harry. But then she went into a really serious relationship with Michelle Rodriguez, and they just broke up after 6 months because of Cara's lifestyle. Cara was into really partying, alcohol and drugs, and doing some things and rebel stuff, but Michelle was somehow a peace wanter. She wanted to relax, chill, and have peace, and just had two different paths for each other. And then she went into a relationship with St. Vincent, and she confessed that she's the love of her life, and for the first time she's feeling love. And after a while they just broke up, and St. Vincent, she got into a relationship with Pretty Little Liars star Ashley Benson. And as headlines and media says, that was the most serious person in Cara Delevingne's life that may even lead to marriage, but it just broke up. And some people say the real reason behind her breakup was Amber Heard. And after Ashley Benson, Cara just went into a relationship with Jada Smith for a very short time, and after Sienna Miller, they were kissing in New York, and then after with Liam Mason, which are still together, which is entitled as stage name Minke or Mink, I don't know. which one's true? Correct me if I'm wrong. And her relationship with Amber Heard was one of the most dramatic relationship over the history in the Johnny Depp courts and anything. And there was just a rumor that Elon Musk and Amber and Cara Delevingne had a 3 relationship, and I don't know, but just Elon Musk never confirmed it, but there was this rumor, and Josh Drew, Amber Heard's friend, just told that it was true, and Johnny Depp also. What do you think about it? Was it true or not? And I should say that Cara Delevingne also having, we can say, a Prosecco company with her sisters, Poppy and Chloe. It's which his name is Della Vite, and then completely it has a vegan process, and then she's also co-owner of Laura Di Carlo company, which is working for technological sexual products, yeah, as I say. And she has even a brand for herself, Cara & Co., which her father is involved, and she's into a project which names Earth and for Environment. Some interesting facts that you may like to know about Cara: that she was into music from the first moments of her life. She just played drums, she was even in a band, and she went into private studios just to record some music. And when she was in those moments of dyslexia, dyspraxia, anxiety, depression, she just caught herself just would harm herself, and she had a really hard time for accepting who she was. She mentioned even she was so many times a saint in modeling industry, and that was modeling industry what had just the same, I don't know, creepy moments like Hollywood, and it was not a very different. And as I mentioned, that she loves very scary, creepy animals, because she, as she mentioned, she had a very traumatized childhood, and that's what those animals gave her the strength to just accept her childhood, you know. I don't know, sometimes something to keep going on, like a doll, you will just grab it and cuddle, you want to sleep when you had a bad night, and maybe those animals work the same for Cara. You know, Cara Delevingne is really into meditation and yoga. She has more than 20 tattoos, and she said that all these tattoos remind her of any fear she has in her life. And you know, one of the things she confessed really during her interviews with Vogue was that after the death of grandmother, she was hit that that's not the life you are trying to live, with alcohol, with drug. And she said the death of my grandmother was somehow a funeral for my own life, for the old Cara, and then the new Cara was born, and she's now a very we can say careful person about her choices, her life, and what really she wants, and not what anyone else wants. And then she's a really good friend to Margot Robbie, and there was a photo which paparazzis published that Margot Robbie was leaving Cara Delevingne's house and she was crying, and people said that Margot Robbie was very worried about the situation of Cara Delevingne, that's why she's crying, or maybe they are together and they had some issues together. And after a while, just Margot confessed, chill everyone, I just had something on my eyes and there was nothing to do with Cara. But I guess that was a cry. What do you think about it? And there was a headline about her burnt house in LA, which she was worried about her 2 cats, but firefighters were able to save her. So what do you think about Cara Delevingne's life? Do you think she was a victim from her childhood, for her mother? Who would you blame, her mother or herself? And is she now living a very stable life or not? Comment below and tell me, who should I cover next? Is she gonna be a model or she's gonna be an actress? Just comment for me, and have a really nice time. Goodbye.